guys doing? It's Henry from Mowers and Blowers. Doing another episode today, this morning, on the outstanding items that I have left from Jason. It's my content package that Jason gave me because he saw one day I was doing a snowblower video. He's like, oh man, he must be short on content because he's doing his old snowblower. So he brought me 6 machines so I'd have more content. He obviously didn't want them. And honestly, I don't know if I want them, you know what I mean? So I appreciate the stuff that he gave me. 2 of my Karcher pressure washers were traded to Mondo mowers for that Murray lawn tractor that I got. That was a good trade for me. I appreciate it. But yeah, so I fixed basically everything that he gave me. It was 6 items. 2 were traded away. 2 right over here. There was a snowblower that I just fixed yesterday or day before yesterday, and then the John Deere JS63 we got going as well. I still have to mess with the RPMs; they're a little high, but it starts, runs, mows, drives, everything, you know. Anyway, so today we have the old LawnBoy with a Tecumseh engine on it. I really hate those carburetors. Not so much the engine, it's the carburetor that I just don't like. It's mostly that red primer bulb. The Tecumseh lawn mowers with the red primer bulb, it always gets so stiff that when you push it, it's so hard and you can't even get any kind of primer to it, you know. The old black ones are okay, you know, but that's just a headache, you know what I mean? So let me show you what I got over here. So this is a homelite. It's a 79cc horizontal shaft engine, right? And it's on a nice condition edger. This edger looks like it's in great shape. It looks new, you know? But it obviously had been sitting out a little bit. Not from the way it looks, of course, right? However, if you come to this area here, I'll show you. So he didn't have the gas tank. He just brought it to me recently. It's not on there, right? When you open up the gas tank, it is completely rusted on the inside. The whole thing is rusted on the inside. Now, I guess I could just dump some sand in there and a bunch of rocks, right? Maybe gasoline. And just shake it for like 2 hours. Just to get most of the remnant rusts off, and then as long as it doesn't chip, put a fuel filter on here and it might work. I could just put any old gas tank on here, but this is stock, you know what I mean? To find one that's 3 points right here would be difficult to do. Also, this carburetor here is jacked up because the needle is seized in there, rusted closed in the hole, right? It's also missing the bowl, the float, nut. You're a nut. Linkages are all gone. That takes it to the governor and the throttle bracket, right? This linkage is gone. I have no idea how long it is, what the bend is like, you know. So it's a big mystery to put this all back together again. Not to mention I checked the internet, eBay, where I get all my parts for this carburetor. This is obviously a Chinese copy engine, so you gotta just look up 79cc, you know, Edger homelite carburetor, and it comes up like 12 or 13 of them. They're all about $25 to $30 a piece. There's nothing cheaper than $23. So am I gonna spend $23 to maybe get this running? How much do you think this whole thing is worth if it was running? Maybe $100, right? Is that worth it for me to spend 30 to maybe get 70 out of it? You know, it's not. And that's just saying 30 for getting the carburetor. What about the linkages? What about the gas tank? You know, sometimes you have to gauge all these things, right? And say, is it worth your time and money to make very little money, right? Very little profit. If you think about it, You could take this whole thing apart and sell the parts alone on eBay. Probably get $100 for just the parts. You know what I mean? Which is what I'm probably going to do. Either take a picture of this and sell it as is for like $30, right? Would somebody pay $30 for this? I don't know. Maybe they would. Or put it up for like $40, right? Maybe they'll buy it. I doubt it, but maybe. So I'm going to not work on this today. When I went to go help my friend Mondo take down that shed over in East Northport, he saw that DeWalt bag that I had, that I put my 2 impact guns in there, plus tools. He's like, man, you need a bigger bag. I says, it does the job. We're carrying our bags, right? Got the tools there. Anyway, so as we came back, he had this in his truck. And he says, here, take that. And I says, what do you mean, take it? He goes, yeah, it's a tool bag, brand new, right? And I says, you're just going to give it to me? He's like, man, I got like 100 of them. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. So this is like my field bag. I can take this to my, when I call it field, it's my backyard. But at least I'm not in my garage. I like to film outdoors now because the lighting is so good. And when we get sunlight, you're going to take advantage. So that leaves me this thing right over here. Like I said, it's the LawnBoy lawnmower push behind, right? I actually, when I first started doing small engines, I had about 4 of these. And sold them all for decent money, you know, maybe 150, 125, you know. And but the ones that I had were self-propelled. This one looks like it is self-propelled. However, the wiring feels kind of funny, as if it's not gripping onto anything. It's going to probably need a new cable, for sure. Also, the issue with this is, right, as you can see, it doesn't have a bagger, okay? Now, if it doesn't have a bagger, that's all fine and dandy too, right? Because you can't get exactly what you want when you get it for free, right? Beggars can't be choosers. However, this doesn't have the mulch plug either, which means that if you don't have a bagger or a mulch plug, right, this mower is designed as such where the discharge is in the rear. Yes, it does also have a side discharge, right? But the rear discharge doesn't have the regular spring-loaded door like most lawnmowers. It's just wide open like that. So if you don't have a mulch cover or a bagger, right, while you're mowing this without a bag, the grass is just going to go on your feet. You know what I mean? So that's no good. I did once have the same issue, and all I did was just take a black thingamabob and drill holes in it, just to cover up the hole, is what I did. That would probably work. So I'm going to need a cable, and you know what? I definitely do not have cables to get this going. Biggest issue, I think, is going to be this primer bulb. I can just look at it from here, not even touch it, right? Just looking at it, I know that primer bulb is going to be stiff and hard, and I'm not going to be able to get any kind of primer into this carburetor. Watch. Oh, huh. I am gravely mistaken. It is soft and elastic, and it looks like it would prime. How about that, huh? That's why they coined the phrase, looks can be deceiving, right? Just like the look when somebody for the first time is watching Henry at Mowers and Blowers, right? And they think, oh, hello everybody! Welcome to my show. I'm Henry. I'm from China. Well, obviously, I'm not from China. I'm Chinese, but I'm not from China. So, looks can be deceiving. So anyway, this primer bulb seems like it's really good, and I'm going to try to fix it now because of that primer bulb. If that primer bulb was super stiff and hard, right, I guess I probably would have went into my, bin of carburetors and found a more viable primer bulb to install onto this carburetor. Everything else is here from just preliminarily looking. How about that? It's got gasoline in it too. However, since it's got gasoline in it and I've been pressing it, do you see any? Oh, look at that. Fuel does come out. Oh man, looks can be deceiving. How about that? You know what? Just for the hell of it, man. What do you guys think? Oh, this brake cable thing is actually smooth too. I mean, pretty smooth. It's rusted to hell. Of course it's not going to start. Are you crazy? Of course it's not going to start. But let's take apart this carburetor and see. Maybe we can get this started. Because we didn't have a filter on there, right? This primer bulb system works as such where you primer it, right? And this little red hose shoots gas into the filter, which gives it the vapors, right? Since we have no filter, gas is shooting out. It's not really going in. There's no vapors. I'm gonna help it out. I'm gonna shoot some spray in there. See if it starts. Not of the one. You know, when you pull the engine, it feels kind of funny. It feels as if there's no compression. I mean, that's what it feels like. I mean, you don't hear the cranking of the engine. It's just pulling. You know, you can hear nothing. You know, that worries me a bit. Maybe it's not getting any spark either. Just took out the spark plug. You think this is gonna get any spark? I just cleaned the spark plug and put it back in. I connected my spark tester to it. Yeah, on a sunny day, good luck trying to see if there's a spark there. I think the only way I can do this is to put this camera up like this, right? And just put my camera to it, record, do it, and see if I see any later. Did you guys see any? I'm gonna go. So I remember these, this model, right? They are 1/4-inch bolts that go in here, and they're deep inside. And I remember that the way it's designed is, look, they go inside these holes, right? Well, there's no exit for any of the water. So if you left this outside, water just was like a pool, a swimming pool inside these holes, right? Water just stays there, and the bolts just, you know, are rusted to hell, and when you try to get them out, they're stripped. So it's a terrible design that it's inside this cup, you know, water builds up in here, you know, so don't leave your stuff outside. But I was able to extract them successfully. My impact. You have to remove the dipstick to take off that top cover. Dipstick, Cletus, you dipstick. Not doing it. So it looks like the magneto's probably Dunsky. It's not giving off any spark. Even though I tested it with this, but this is not really exactly that reliable, you know what I mean? So the test spark is difficult for this. I'm gonna have to remove everything. 5/16 for these two right here. Take off the cowling, engine cover. Remove the two front bolts here. And you remove the gas tank, which is on this bracket over here. And there are two 3/8 bolts over here. Remove the 5/16 that holds a dipstick onto the engine cover and lift. It appears to look just fine. Perhaps the brake lever release wasn't complete, so therefore it was killed the full time. we remove this kill wire to the magneto, we can test and see if it has any spark. But then I'd have to put all this stuff back again just to test it, you know? Gotta do what you gotta do. Or I could take my drill, see, and get one of those attachments onto my 3/4 socket and put on my spark tester over here, see, and see if we have any spark this way. And we have spark. I'm going to reconnect this again and see if we have any spark. See if that's the issue. I think that's the issue. There's 2 wires here. I'm going to disconnect this one and see. There's spark. I'm going to connect this back on again and take this one off. And there's no spark. So, there's no spark. Connected this. It's this wire here that's spark. One of these wires is no good. So that makes perfect sense. Why? Because now I remember it has a sensor over here, okay, that if it doesn't have the bagger on, right, it's not going to start. You have to have the bagger on here for it to start, because it's just designed like that for safety, because there's no door that protects your feet or something, or your hands from the moving blades in this big hole. It makes you have to have the bagger on here for this to run. So that's the issue. So basically what we're going to do is just take this wire off completely. Or is this the one? No, this is the kill. Okay? This is the wire for the assembly that goes to, goes to that sensor here. If we disconnect this, right, take this out, right, it's not connected at all. This is to the brake switch, right? We only connect that. So hopefully we figured that issue out. I'm pretty sure that's it. Didn't occur to me that that would be the kill too, but I know my battery to my drill is very weak, so you know, you use a little bit and it's Dunsky. This is very old though, you know, I need to get a new drill, just a cordless one, you know, but I was holding this thing like that, right, and as this was turning, even though I didn't really see anything that were any light, I felt the spark in my hand, you know, I was like, so I know that it's getting spark now when we only have that one kill wire connected to the bail cable, the bail panel. So while we're here and we have it off already, I took the carburetor off just so we could see the status of it, you know. This one over here, in case you guys aren't familiar with the linkage, right? This one here is on the top hole. This one here is equivalent to that lawn tractor type where it's just one thin wire with a spring on it. It's a tensioner, basically. You can increase and decrease RPMs by bending this metal rod here. Anyway, it's just a Z-bend. This is a breather. This is a Z-bend. I say again, no, it's not a Z-bend. Okay, so it's a hook. Not a ladder, hook. There we go. So remember, it's always in this one here. The one at the corner. There's a corner here. The bigger hole at the corner. It's always this one. You can see it's also attached to the fuel line, the fuel tank. Because the fuel tank seems to be okay, I'm just gonna keep it like this. I'm gonna loosen this bolt over here. Should be 1/2. Yes, it is. Why is it that every tool I have, except, okay. It's good. It's not too hard to do. It's not brittle. It's smooth. And the hole is clear. Gasket on the nut is good. Hole is clean. However, why don't I see any fuel, right? Why wasn't there any fuel? Right, well there is now, but how come there wasn't any fuel before, right? Unless I just loosened it up. Maybe the needle was stuck and now it's not. See what I'm saying? It's a relatively clean carburetor. There is some water in there. I'm surprised that this gas looks the way it does. It's pretty clean. It does have a water bubble in there. See it? Just poured out another sampling and there's more water in there. So you know what? I'm going to drain the tank because obviously the tank has water in it. Disconnected the gas tank. We're just going to unload all the gas into this bottle of Mogu Mogu. Mogu Mogu is an Asian drink. They have a lot of flavors. It's 25% lychee juice. You guys know what lychees are? Or actually how the English pronounce it, lychee. You guys live in a diverse state such as California, New York, Washington, Miami, Florida, or even Texas. There's a big Vietnamese population in Texas. And if you go to those towns, maybe a Chinatown or something, you'll have drinks like lychee juice. Even in bars and cocktail lounges, they have lychee martinis too. Lychee. It's a very good fruit, delicious. Anyway, this is almost like a sweet drink with chunks of lychee in it. It's strange to get used to, if you're not used to it, but very good drink. So look, it's I hear there's a lot of fluid still in here, but yet it's not coming out. It's strange. Okay, so I just poured the contents of that entire gas tank into here. I'm going to remove this thing so you guys can see what I'm seeing here. The reason why that I kept on getting samples of water, because it's about 1/8 water. It's disgusting. The top gas here is okay, but then you got a ton of water over here. So that's why. Glad that we cleaned that out. The carburetor is actually pretty clean. I'm going to reassemble everything, put the gas tank back.
just shooting out the back. You could see the blades spinning. If you put your foot in there, you'll cut your foot off. Did you think it would run? Did you think that the self-propulsion would work? I am amazed. Do you guys know if it's supposed to be two-wheel drive? Because this one doesn't spin. It only spins on that one. Didn't want to run it too long because it doesn't have any oil in it. It has very little. I'm going to put some in now. Lawnmowers only take 20 ounces of Earl. This almost had no Earl in it. Had some, but just a little bit, which is why I shut it off and didn't want to run it for more than a minute or so. So the whole thing takes 20 ounces, which isn't very much at all. Doesn't have very much. Alright, you know what? I'm mistaken. It's actually up to the add line, a little bit below the add line. So the remainder of this is about a third. SAE 30 plus from my friends over at Lucas Oil Products. You put SAE 30 in because it's meant for the summer use, which is for temperatures above 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Earl. Earl. Alright, let me just check. I don't want to overfill it. Wouldn't be good if you overfilled it. Anyway, man, can you guys believe that I got this going? Can you freaking believe that, man? I mean, it don't got no bag, but you know what? What are you gonna do? Forget about it. Right? So just check the oil. Oil is good. Actually have one of these things. Designed for a craftsman. Doesn't seem to fit on this one. You know what I mean? It's a different cover here. I might have to go switch it out. Look at this. Original Tecumseh service part. You know what? You come off. Oh, you know what? I need to block that hole one. Yeah. Yeah. I need to switch that out. I actually have one that fits this. I think I got it from 5-Speed Ash. I think I thought it worked. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, so this fits. See? So I gotta replace this with that. It's a 1/4 inch. Pain in the butt. You can't reach a screwdriver in there, you know. The one on the inside is even harder to get to. By the way, these Tecumseh carburetors are very cheap. The ones with the red straw that sticks out for the primer, I've seen those for like $4.75, shipped for free. So if it costs you $3 or $4 to ship, right? What is that? $1? They're making $1 off of it? What, they got it for free and they make $1? It's crazy how cheap it is, man. So I was gonna make a like plastic mulch plug for this back part, just like a door to screw it in, right? But then what if, you know, somebody out there has a bag and just wants to replace their machine with, you know, a better machine that runs? Maybe theirs doesn't run, but they have the bag. So what if I run into somebody who wants that, you know what I mean? And then they won't want it because I've already drilled holes in it, you know? So I'm just gonna leave it as is and sell it as is for like, I don't know, $50 or something, you know, a running LawnBoy lawnmower, but it doesn't have the bag, that's all, you know? Just do that. Anyway, that was kind of fun, I guess, you know, the troubleshoot why it didn't have spark, you know, and then we realized that it was that bagger kill, you know, mechanism that did it. That's kind of interesting, you know, how we troubleshooted taking everything off. We saw that there was water in the tank, right? So there was water in the tank that prevented it from starting. The kill for the bagger, that didn't work. Self-propulsion, even though I didn't think it would work, but it works. Albeit one wheel, but it still drives it, you know what I mean? So we pretty much took this thing apart, but it works, you know. Appreciate you guys coming along my journey today to just chip off the stuff that I have left to fix. It's a nice day today. It's almost 48, 50, and no sign of snow anywhere. Hopefully I'll be able to sell some of my machines in the upcoming months, clear out my yard, and move on to the next project. I'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. See you guys next time on the Mowers and Blowers.